How are you doing? How are you doing with Harvard? Good, good. You keep suing them. The hell with them. I like the historically black colleges and universities, which I saved. Leo 2.0 said it, but which I saved. We saved them. They had no funding, and every year they'd come back, and I got to know some of the heads, and every year they'd come back, and after my third year, first term, I said, you guys keep coming back. Why do you keep coming back? He said, we have to come back every year. For years and years, they had to come back. And one of them said, one of the heads, a great guy, said, they make us feel like beggars. We have to come back. I said, I'm going to get you long-term financing. And I got it for them. And I said, the only bad thing, I'll never see you guys again. I haven't seen too many of them. But we took care of the historically black colleges and universities, right? But we thank God for the strength and courage and grit and devotion of black Americans who have helped make America the most powerful country in the history of the world. We now have, and you saw that with our attack a few weeks ago on Venezuela. We have the greatest military in the world. We make the greatest equipment in the world. There's nobody even close. Nearly 10,000 African Americans fought for the Patriot cause in the Revolutionary War. Did you know that? 10,000, and it's actually a number even, I've heard even higher than that, helping secure our independence in every generation since, from the Buffalo Soldiers to the Tuskegee Airmen. Black Americans have stepped forward to defend the flag and to defend our country like few others, really, like few others. And you've never really been given the recognition that you should get for that. You know that, Ben? They never, I don't think a lot of people have given the kind of recognition, but everyone knows all about the Tuskegee Airmen. They were great and amazing. The Buffalo Soldiers, do you know the Buffalo Soldiers? Good stuff, right? From jazz to the blues, that you know, that you do get recognition for. Jazz, the blues, from rock and roll to rap. Black artists like Chuck Berry, Muddy Waters. Black History Month is really all about American history. And this is a big year. This is a big year for you. During my first term, I was honored to deliver unprecedented victories for black Americans and all Americans, frankly. But black Americans, I single-handedly secured record long-term funding for. I told you, the historically black colleges and universities. I created nearly 9,000 opportunity zones with our great secretary. And also, I think we have to do, and as I said before, Tim Scott really, he came to me with that idea, and we put it into use, right, Scott? And I signed historic criminal justice reform into law. We got criminal justice reform. Just so you know, for 30 years, you, more than any other group of people, has been trying to get criminal justice reform, and they couldn't do it. And a group of people came to my office, and they asked me to do it. They couldn't get it. They needed 5 conservative votes in the Senate, and conservative was 5 conservative white votes in the Senate. And of the 5, all 5 of them were totally against, and I called them up, and they were great.
They don't talk about this out loud, but the world has never made space for the classy black woman, because elegance on us doesn't just look good, it shakes systems. We weren't supposed to be this refined, this radiant, this rooted in our worth. Well, that is, not without begging for a seat, or not without shrinking first. You see, class is marketed as a white woman's birthright, but when a black woman shows up in a red lip, slow speech, and a silk blouse, with standards, stillness, and no desire to be liked, people get uncomfortable. They want us loud, accessible, performing. But classy? That's too quiet, too powerful, too in control. They call it fake. But it's not fake, it's fluent. We've always known how to move with grace. They just never imagined that we do it without permission. When we're soft, they say we're weak. When we're selective, they call us cold. When we show up in luxury, they tell us we're trying to be white. No, we're just remembering who we are. Because class on a black woman, it's rhythm, it's ancestral, it's gold hoops and glossy lips. It's discernment, it's the ability to sit in silence and still own the room. They fear us because we don't have to be loud to be seen. We don't have to explain ourselves to be respected. We are not palatable. We are powerful. So when they say, who does she think she is? The answer is simple. Who I was born to be. This isn't about being classy. It's about being free. And that's threatening because society profits only when we see ourselves through survival. When we're strong but never soft. Bold but never quiet. Visible but never valued. So when we choose softness, class, elegance, it's not just style. It's rebellion. You're not too much. You're finally becoming uncontainable. And that's exactly why they don't want you to become her. But do it anyway. Bye for now. Toodles.
Can we talk about the erasure of young, dark-skinned black women in mainstream media? When you think of young black actresses in Hollywood, who comes to mind? Because I don't know about you, but there seems to be a certain look. As a darker-skinned monoracial black actress myself, trying to break into the industry, I've noticed how rare it is to see girls like me in their 20s or 30s playing leads in mainstream TV or film. And hey, a black queen is a black queen, and I love seeing our girls win in whatever capacity, but it's hard to ignore that the space for young, darker-skinned black actresses is shrinking, and let's be honest, slowly being replaced by a lighter, more digestible version of black. There was a time where you could turn on the TV and watch shows like Girlfriends, Moesha, Sister Sister, Living Single, and actually see a variety of black women in different skin tones and hair texture. It's like darker skinned black women don't exist in these young, playful roles. Like, why can't I be a fairy in the adaptation of Akatar? Why do I gotta be the struggling mom of 3 or the cop who got a rough past? Why am I always struggling? You know what I'm saying? Like, damn.
Special shout out to black women. I've often been credited with, having these grand ideas of people like, oh, Trevor, you're so smart and you're so, and then I'm like, who do you think teaches me? Unlike everybody else, black women cannot afford to around and find out. Black women in particular, they know what shit is, genuinely. I'll tell you now, do yourself a favor. You truly want to know what to do or how to do it, or maybe the best way or the most equitable way, talk to black women. They're a lot of the reason that I'm here.
Other races don't respect us. The other races, they don't respect us. People don't respect black people. They don't respect you. They don't listen to you. They barely take your words into consideration. They think you guys are a joke. They think black people are jokes. And can I tell you something? I think I get it. I know why they think you're jokes. Because you guys have this, you guys are just weird. Like, to be honest, it's not even weird. Weird is not the right word. It's just, it's like backwards. It's giving backwards. You guys are just like, it's giving backwards. Like, you're not up to date with how things are. You just don't get it anymore. You don't get it. And the way you behave, it's so ugly. The way a lot of black people behave is too ugly. It's so ugly the way you guys behave. It's ugly. It's honestly ugly.
Black Americans are not appreciated enough in United States of America, despite the fact that that they helped build United States economically through centuries of forced labor, and also on sectors like agriculture, construction, and also domestic work. And these people happen to be skilled traders. And despite all those things which they've done in that country, we see that they have not yet been accepted completely by the country. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. If you happen to be new here, support us by subscribing. Share your thoughts in comments down below, and I'll be back with more commentary.
The world doesn't respect black people because we haven't done enough crimes against humanity. And I will explain. So tell me if I'm crazy, tell me if I crack the code. I have stumbled upon another TikTok of this time an African-American woman. It's always African-American people being discriminated against, being followed around, having to deal with slurs in countries that we don't even visit that much, countries that we have little to no history with. And we're constantly asking in the comments, what the fuck did we do? What did we do? We didn't do anything to them. And I think that's the issue, is that we haven't done anything to them. I'm starting to think that these different countries, these different continents only respect crazy crimes against humanity, and we have yet to do that. Like Japan, for example. Japanese people tend to have a respect and a reverence for the same group of people who did Hiroshima. Yet we're an issue, right? I feel like we don't get respect the same way that henchmen don't get respect on Batman. You feel me? It's like just a quick little obstacle to get over. There's much more reverence and much more thought going into and much more time taken to figure out how to take down Joker, how to take down Penguin, how to take down Clayface, because they're a bigger threat and there's more story to them. No one gives a fuck about the henchmen and their little petty crimes. Batman just swoops in, breaks their arm, and leaves. And I think that's the issue. If you notice, when people complain about black people, they're always saying, you guys are always looting and loitering and shooting at each other. You're all gangbangers and da-da-da-da. And mind you, all those are crimes against each other. We don't go outside of our neighborhoods and fuck with other people that don't look like us. If we're gangbanging against somebody who looks just like us on the other side of the same neighborhood. It's never us affecting other people, and I think that doesn't get us respect. Why would I respect people that are stealing out of stores, stealing out of malls, stealing out of gas stations, when my people steal whole countries? We steal people. We steal your ideas. We steal your children and sell them off, and I'm supposed to respect you because you stole a fucking candy bar? You're small time. And I think the moment that we start getting up and, ooh, let me be quiet, I'm saying too much, but you get what I'm saying.
You know, I'll never forget the day a white buddy of mine said black people don't deserve equality because they could never get enough. And that's true. White people are actually scared of equality. That's just how racist we are as a people. And it's not just that one person. White culture in general. Probably I would say most white people, when they hear the word equality, they fear that white people will be oppressed because brown, black, and indigenous people might actually get what's fair and just. That's just how racist we are. And we're so obsessed with the idea of not having equality in America for black, brown, and indigenous people that we don't have health care, that we don't have economic equality. We don't have reasonable gun laws. Our liberties are being stripped because we have a fascist, racist, white supremacist regime in office because we are so scared of equality. We're so scared that black and brown folks might become the majority one day. That we had a black president, and now we've got to have a white supremacist president. That's how scared we are of equality. That's how racist we are as a people. Go to the fucking root. The root of America's problems. The root of the white man and the white woman, their problems, and America and the world. If you think about it, colonialization, white supremacy, the mentality of white people today, not just yesterday, today, right now, the denial racially, the silence, the apathy, the continuous gaslighting, all that fucking shit. That's ruined us. It's ruined white people, and it's ruining our nation. And whose fault is it? White people's fault. Their inability to fucking fix their goddamn problem. Until we fix white supremacy, everything we try will fail. It's dysfunctional and it's toxic, and Trump and this regime is the perfect proof of all that shit. How we got in this fucking mess? White people's bullshit. White people's racist fucking bullshit. Period.
The most beautiful women of color will never be enough or seen as beautiful enough in comparison to the most average white woman.
I tagged her so you can go watch the whole video because a word. But for real, I'm watching Love is Blind and I'm getting upset. Colleen is not a bad looking girl by any means, right? But I could get on the subway, go downtown, throw a handful of Skittles in the air and hit like 4 girls that look just like her. The way Cole is talking about Zanab, and I said this before, is no different than how Shik was talking about Deepthi. I'm 100% fine with you having your preferences as long as it doesn't include you talking shit about a whole other group of people. I don't care. I'm not surprised that Cole, who is a very basic, regular looking white boy, is into very basic, regular looking white women. Like, Zanab is sensitive about how she looks. She's told him that. Even her mother said as much to him when he met her. And then for this man to go look her dead in the face and say, well, I didn't expect you to look my type. You think that I was dating some girl named Zanab and expected her to look like every other girl that I've dated? It feels like he decided to try her on and then realized it didn't fit. Just like how Shay last season had never dated an Indian woman and ended up with Deepti in the prods and said, you know what, fuck it, why not? I've said this before, a million people have said this before, but you never want to be the first person of color a grown-ass man has dated. And definitely do not do it to yourself if y'all are in the same ethnic group, because that's a whole other bag of shit. But if this man has a deep dating history and all the girls look like clones of each other, stay away. This is the shit. This is the mental, emotional toll that kind of thing takes on you. You could be drop dead gorgeous. You could be Issa Rae, Gemma Chan, Simone Ashley, and out here getting compared to every single Anna Kendrick lookalike that man has ever encountered. It's just too sad to watch. It's so sad.
What did black people do to be hated so bad and so much? Like, I'm talking beyond slavery. Like, I'm, you know, today still. We was just watching the Hurricane Katrina documentary on Hulu, and I'm like, bruh, like, the folks literally lost everything, and then they came in treating them like they was criminals, and like, and then I was like, and then there was the one scene where they was saying how if they seen them, they was just shooting them, and the old white guy with the beard was like, yeah, man, it was like open season and some, and then the dude was like, well, how many do y'all think it doesn't matter, who really cares? I'm like, bro, like, we really done been through some stuff. And then I was telling my wife, I'm like, them same people in them documentaries, like, they still alive. It was only 20 years ago. Like, some of these people are still alive. We got no clue who they are, but that same energy, that same mindset, it still lives amongst us. And what bothers me the most is, like, everybody done always hated us, and then we help them out by hating ourselves. Like, we can't come together and work together. So we kind of, you know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't know, bro. It bothers me.
The problem exists because white people think they're better than black people, and they want to oppress us, and they want us to allow ourselves to be oppressed. And we're tired of this kind of stuff now. We're not going to suffer patiently anymore. No more turning the other cheek. No more blessing our enemies. No more praying for those who despitefully use us. We're going to show you that we've learned the lessons you've taught us. We've studied your history, and you did not take over this country by singing "We Shall Overcome." You did not gain control of the world like you have it now by dealing fairly with a man and keeping your word. You're treaty breakers, you're liars, you're thieves, you rape entire continents and races of people.
I want every white person in this room who would be happy to be treated as this society in general treats our citizens, our black citizens. If you, as a white person, would be happy to receive the same treatment that our black citizens do in this society, please stand. You didn't understand the directions. If you white folks want to be treated the way blacks are in this society, stand. Nobody's standing here. That says very plainly that you know what's happening. You know you don't want it for you. I want to know why you're so willing to accept it or to allow it to happen for others.
I'm not trying to invalidate biracial people's experience, but I kind of feel like being told that you're not black enough is just kind of the black experience in and of itself. I was only around black people. I didn't know any white people that were not teachers, and I was told that I was not black by family members. I guess there was times I wasn't black enough for the black kids or white enough for the white kids either. There were no white kids for me to be friends with. I met some white people. I moved, and then I realized, oh, I'm not like y'all either. And I feel like everybody I went to school with, no matter how they acted, was probably called not black at some point too. Like where I went to school, like sometimes we would just not talk about the things that we did that everybody didn't do. Like you come to school talking about Friday and the Parkers. You don't talk about Friends, even if you did watch it. Occasionally you let it slip out that you was watching Seventh Heaven. And somebody in the room might laugh, but they was watching it too. So maybe that is the black people accepting you, and you just don't realize it.
Nobody in this world respects and looks at the black American with admiration. Nobody. Everybody looks down upon us. And they have every reason to. They have every reason to. We have nothing to offer this world other than a position as a slave. We don't have anything that we've developed in the last 40, 50 years that we can go to the world stage and say, hey, look at our invention. We ain't got nothing. We don't have a system. We don't even have a recipe. We used to have a recipe. Cornbread dressing, hot water cornbread, sweet potato pie. We used to have a recipe. We used to have some traditions. Nigga, on holidays, nigga, our mothers would buy us new clothes. For Easter, Juneteenth, we used to celebrate our heritage. Now, to say that we're at the bottom in America, that's inaccurate. We're a last place on earth.
But I would like to say what scares us is I think we hear violence.
The young lady said she's afraid of violence. And isn't it sad that we who have been the victims of so much violence, now whites fear violence from us? We do not have a history of killing white people. White people have a history of killing us. See? And what you fear, may I say this, sir? What you fear, and it's a deep guilt thing, that white folks suffer. You are afraid that if we ever come to power, we will do to you and your fathers what you and your people have done to us. And I think you are judging us by the state of your own mind, and that is not necessarily the mind of black people.
Welcome back. Now, we get to understand that black Americans have had a lot of involvement in the development of United States of America, and despite all their contribution towards the growth and also establishment of United States of America, we see that they're not appreciated enough at that country, and we see that there are quite a number of things which they've done. One being that they helped build the state economically, and we see that during slavery period, these people offered free forced labor, and we know during that time is when the slave masters were able to generate a lot of income because they're not having to spend it on labor, and then that whole thing got to be transferred to other sectors like construction, and also into other financial fields. And we see that later on, we get to see that black Americans also fought for America because we see them in areas where they serve in every major United States war, and often they face discrimination at home. After even they get to fight this major United States of America war, they still don't get enough medical care. They still don't get to have those appreciations which when someone gets to retire, they get to have. We've seen that veterans complaining that they cannot even get to afford medical care, whereas there is a lot of money being used to finance this kind of war. And we see that black Americans have also created major parts of the American culture. As we know that black American culture now is being celebrated as a global culture, and we get to understand that even after they have done all this contribution in making parts of the American culture, other institutions get to profit more than the pioneers of the culture. We know that from jazz, blues, gospel, hip hop, R&B, rock, and other genres, much of the modern American population, they have that culture which is tied back to black American roots. And despite the fact that they're the ones who are the pioneers of that, we see that institutions get to even own these record labels, and they end up benefiting more than the ones who are the pioneers of the culture. And we see that other countries want to associate with the culture, but they don't want anything to do with the blacks. So we get to see the double standards because they want the culture, but they don't want to associate with the creators of the culture. And now that gets to be so messy because it makes them to receive zero to no appreciation for what they pioneered. And we see that they've also transformed the American politics because we see whenever they felt that they're being oppressed, they marched and fought for their own rights. We see that the civil rights movement fundamentally changed the voting rights, and also it changed the segregation laws, employment protection, education, and also a federal civil rights policy. Although they still traces of racism and discrimination in United States of America, we see that during those times when they were having this civil rights movement, they got to change some things like the voting rights, where now they were allowed to vote, and also the segregation laws were also put in place. And then you also get to see them getting to have the employment protection. They have now more likelihood of having job security than back in the day. And we see that in that aspect of all doing these things, they have helped to transform the American politics. And also, when it comes to their community, these Black Americans have actually built community despite the enormous barriers. And we get to understand that Black owned businesses, churches, schools, newspaper, universities, civil organizations, they've been created, and they've been created when many institutions excluded Black Americans. And when now they came to realize that they are not needed by other institutions, that's when now they started having their own institutions, and they came up with that aspect of trying to build their own community. We have even seen them trying to support their own businesses, black-owned businesses, after they have boycotted the Asians recently. We've seen that after they have boycotted them, they have now started directing their dollar into black-owned businesses. And this way, they are building their community, and the community is going to be stronger and stronger than ever before. And we've seen that the intellectual contribution of Black Americans is often under-recognized, because you see that Black American scientists, inventors, educators, professors, and even lawyers who have actually attained these high academic ranks, they have contributed they've contributed enormously to the American life. But we see that they are under-recognized because we see that white counterparts don't want to accept the fact that Black Americans are bridging the illiteracy gap which existed before, because you know that during slavery period, Black Americans were only allowed to read the Bible, which is not a bad thing, but they were that was the only literature material they could actually be allowed to interact with. But we see now, after the slavery came to an end, we see them now learning, and they are becoming prominent people in the society, because we see that they are inventors, scientists, and also others are holding professional jobs. And we see that in that aspect, they've now contributed towards building of United States of America. And we see that Black American activism has influenced the entire world, because we've seen that after people noticed that Black Americans can stand against the system, other countries have also started to do the same. They've been fighting for their rights, and also questioning the fallacy around democracy. And we see that their cultural influence is now something which is so large, because the entertainment sector, sports, fashion, music, language, and also social trends, they are actually dominated by these Black Americans. So there is a lot of things which Black Americans have done, but they don't get to be appreciated enough in the United States of America. And we see, despite all that, they don't give up. They keep pushing, and they are actually now making it even harder to ignore them, because recognition now often has come after the fact that many Black Americans who have actually chose to work are now trying to press and push and make it known that their history was actually polished. They are getting to expose the materials which were never taught in school. And in that way, people now have started to learn and get to realize that Black Americans have not been recognized enough. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I had for us in this episode. Let us know what you think about the same in comments down below. And if you have not subscribed to our channel, support us by subscribing right now.